Greg is the sub, the real sub.
We're in business, gentlemen.
Got it going.
All right, here we go.
Now he knows how it feels when people's got to cover his classes.
With those badass kids.
Hello and happy Friday. Good afternoon to all you guys out there enjoying this weather. It was kind of hot today, wasn't it?
Even up here. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Well,
it's hot every day where I'm at, baby. 90 degrees.
As you can see, Mr. Polius, the super sub, is here. You saw Steph in the flick, but it's me. Steph is actually out enjoying Comic-Con with
Not
Manny
bad,
and Eddie. So shout out to the Sports Hillers contributors out there enjoying Comic-Con. And we got, BTSU, whatever that means, Mr. Paul Lawson filling in. And we got Declan Krogman with the blanket. I'm sorry, no, the comforter.
Don't do me dirty. Don't do me dirty.
The comforter.
Listen,
all right, so
comforter.
Deck, how was your week?
Really busy. Been trying to keep up with sports as much as possible because also a busy sports week. Not good from a Yankee fan standpoint. Obviously, season's over.
We're gonna get to that. Don't worry.
Don't worry. We're gonna talk about that.
Well, I mean, I know. Like,
Quick question for the audience, Deck. Do you leave that blanket up there 24/7?
Has that rehearsed? What was that? Like,
I'm
upset. I expected more out of whatever that was going to be. I mean, I don't know what to say to that. I mean, no, I sleep here. Like,
I'm just asking. That's kind of a cool invention. If I'm Bed Bath & Beyond or someone listening around the world, maybe this is I'm in the sales business, right? But this is a concept that could generate millions. I mean, every frat boy in America wish they had one of those.
I mean,
what college kid doesn't have a comforter or a blanket?
No. He's talking about the way you're using it, though.
I'm talking about the fact that your roommate can't see what's going on, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
I see. Yes. Well, I mean, first of all, my roommate's not here. Second of all, I mean, I just pulled the blanket down off.
I mean, blanket aside.
I'm not exactly Steve Jobs here. I mean,
Paul, team 95 South. How's it going down in Central Florida?
Central Florida is amazing. I got some family in town all week. I took a week off from the busy schedule. Take them to all of the parks, the Magic Kingdoms, the Animal Kingdoms. Just spend millions of dollars, baby. But I'm happy to be here. I can't wait to tell you what the name stands for, but I'll give you a hint. It is in relation to the New York Yankees. Shout out to the Rays, baby. We in Florida now.
So, I mean, we're here. We're talking about it. Let's get into it. Deck, I'm going to cut to you first. As the resident Yankee fan, what are your feelings on how things went down?
Oh, it was horrible. The team had no fight. Looking back at every nook and cranny of that game, it just looked doomed from the beginning. There she is. On cue, really. On cue. The game was tough, man. It was definitely tough as a Yankee fan. I'm sure for you it was fun.
I did say I hope they lose, so it worked out.
Naturally, yeah. I mean, you predicted, you went and you were rooting for the Yankees. The Red Sox. And it turned out that way, 6-2. Cole just didn't have it, man. There's no excuse to give up 3 runs, 2 innings, and be done in the wild card game. Obviously, the one gamer is so dangerous, and we saw it on display on Tuesday night at Fenway. Stanton hits those 2 shots off the wall. I mean, one of them couldn't have went out, especially in the first inning. That would have been a difference. But it really seemed once Xander hit the home run in the first, it just like it almost did seem predictable. Like I was not shocked when Devers walks and then Xander hits it to dead center. It just seemed like everything that could go wrong went wrong, and the season's over. And hopefully they can clean house a little bit.
Sorry. So when he threw that pitch selection was really weird to me. The changeup down and into a righty. I mean, obviously he missed his spot, but I don't understand why changeup in that situation when that's your third best pitch.
I thought a lot of it
really doesn't agree either.
I totally agree. His slider is obviously his second best pitch, but a lot of the pitch selection, some of the stuff we saw so far in the playoffs this week. I mean, Lance Lynn threw 76 pitches yesterday. 74 of them were fastballs. Greg. We're gonna
get to that as well. But Mr. Paul Lawson, Mr. BTSU, what were your thoughts on that AL wildcard game and how it finished?
As you know, in our chat, I've been critical of the New York Yankees all season long. As a resident New Yorker, right? Former, I should say. Right? Transplant, right? Heart and soul of the Yankees. But I love all New York sports, right? So I'm a Met fan, I'm a Yankee fan, I'm a Knicks fan. I actually am on the news for saying that. It's true, right? I really was on Channel 5 with that.
I remember right? that.
I've been critical because what you are all year, there's nothing that like playoff baseball that exposes it. In other sports, we don't see it until the finals or the Super Bowl, right? Where you can really expose the DNA of a baseball team like we do in the moment October hits, right? Mm-hmm. We know the Yankees can't hit a fastball. So what does Cora do? He goes out there, he throws a guy that only throws fastball. Nate Eovaldi only threw fastballs. He was cruising through the first 5. I think he threw 40 pitches in 5 innings. And we were already down like 4 runs, right? So when you think about it in hindsight, who they are have been chumps all year.
Wow.
They do not do anything to manufacture a run. Couldn't manufacture a run all season, right? They're a home run built lineup. Don't even lead the league in home runs, right? So when you really start thinking about what the Yankees are as a microcosm, these initials stand for, to all of the kids out there listening, I'm sorry, blow that shit up. That's what the BTSU stands for. Boone shouldn't be there today. He should have been gone the same way Cohen made the decision. Boone should have been out with Cashman. The third base coach gotta go, just like the Mets did. You can't send Judge in that situation. Did Aaron Judge turn into Jose Reyes in his prime? Like, he does not have the wheels to make that. That's a game-changing play, right? You don't get tagged out. Who knows? You might be sitting at a 3-3 ball game.
Phil Nevin has been bad all year, and I think that could speak to that as well. I think the Yankees got 22 guys thrown out at the plate.
They led the league in getting thrown out at the plate. This is who they are.
Not even that. They've given up like one of the. I think they're in the top 5 most outs given up on the base pass. They led.
No, not top 5. Top 1.
In the first half, yeah. I haven't checked on the second half. But.
Number 1. So when you think about the Yankees as a whole, you got to ask yourself if you're a real fan that hopes for the Yankees. What I'm getting ready to tell you guys, no one wants to hear, but I am a realist, as I say on the Sunday show. Shout out to my Sunday crew, right? Shout out to the leader of the football crew, Carl, with the football green background.
Never thought you'd ever say that.
You never see that. We're talking 18 months later, right? He didn't even know how to pronounce the team names when he first in the air. The Yankees will not be a competitive baseball team for the next 5 years. You heard it here first. Call it a hot take if you want. Let me explain to you why. Deck, you may recall in our chat, I told you the Yankees are the least talented team in the playoffs. Actually, they're one of the least talented teams in baseball, not just in the playoffs, right?
Deck, I'm going to give you a shot. In the
major leagues.
We got to hear this.
Yeah.
Corey Kluber's number 2 starter. We don't know we're ever going to get from Sevy again, right? We got Stanton tied up with a lot of money. He's a part-time baseball player at this point in his career. The numbers say that, right? He can't play every day. He can't play the outfield, and he makes a hell of a lot of money, right? He hasn't been able to play a full season since, I don't know, I might have been in college. All I'm saying is he ain't the
2018.
guy. We invested a lot of money in the middle infield in DJ LeMahieu. Well, he didn't look good this year. Can't run, marginal defender. Doesn't he just what we seen 2 years ago?
And
You
he's
didn't see.
34 years old.
And
So
he's 34 years old.
Dak, that's out of all the charges levied against the Yankees, this might be one of the kind of harshest charges against your team. How do you take that? What is your response to that?
I mean, I take it in different, like, I evaluate that statement, right?
Mm-hmm.
To say that they're not going to be competitive for the next 5 years, that would just be ignoring what Yankee baseball is about. And while I think that they should blow up the whole management, when the Yankees rebuild, a Yankees rebuild is like an 85 win season. And that's not the right way to do it, in my opinion, but that's how they do it. So to sit here and say they're not going to play competitive baseball for the next 5 years, that's fine. As far as Stanton goes, I don't know how you would sit here and.
Do you see who's in the division?
Hold on. Let him finish.
Come on.
I know both of you guys are on the clock, so we want to get through this.
Right. So Stanton's a guy who was all right when he was DHing. And the second he started playing the outfield, his season got extremely better. I mean, 275, 40 home runs for a guy who in his MVP season hit 281. He's getting back to that plateau, hopefully, and at least average-wise. I mean, to sit here and say that he deserves the least whack out of anyone. He's like the only guy that really impressed this year, besides Aaron Judge on this team. Think about it.
Oh, wait. As you say Aaron Judge, it's great that you said that because we have a special guest on his way that loves to talk about Aaron Judge, right? And let's see who comes in.
Let's.
But, there he is.
Good.
There he is. What's going on, Chuck?
And he got a fresh haircut. And he got a haircut for the show.
Dak literally just mentioned your boy Aaron Judge in responding to Chuck, and I figured it was time to bring you in. And I don't know if Dak, if you or you or Paul Lawson caught the AL the post game, and did you guys hear Chuck, Steph, and Ed talking about the idea of trading Aaron Judge?
Hang on before you start. You might recall Hot Take P said that mid-season. Aaron Judge is the guy you got to move for multiple pieces. I said that in our league mid-season. He's the guy. He's the only real guy that another team will give the house for is an Aaron Judge. To some, he's the missing piece, right? To us, he's Carmelo Anthony, and the Yankees need to pursue that.
So, Chuck, you have the floor, sir.
Well, I'm not saying trade Aaron Judge because I hate Aaron Judge and I don't think he would help the Yankees. But the key comes down to after next year, he's a free agent. So, Declan, I'm going to give you the same question I gave to Eddie 2 nights ago.
Sure.
Are you giving Judge that long-term contract at 30 years old, knowing the history of injuries and how he might not be able to hold up? Plus, you also have Stanton on the team for about the same amount of time. So are you giving Judge that contract?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I'm going to say yes, and here's why. While I could see that the Yankees would be able to potentially trade him for pieces, one, I don't think they will. And two, Aaron Judge is a guy I want to build around. He is face of franchise material, like Greg said, or Paul, whoever just said he was the missing piece. This is a guy who, I mean, MVP caliber type year here, like top 5 in the American League from what he did this season. I mean, the biggest piece, the 3-hitter on this team. And, you know, this is a team that needs to make acquisitions and needs to, you know, do damage in the offseason if they want to compete. Otherwise, like Paul said, they'll fall out and they'll try to rebuild. This is not a team that's going to rebuild. Hopefully they'll sign a new manager. I'd love to see it. But to answer your question directly, no, I would not trade Aaron Judge, and I would sign into that deal because after what we saw this year, we've now seen multiple seasons of him doing what he does, being a great hitter, not just a slugger, cutting down on some Ks and really hitting for average too. I mean, hit for almost 290 this year with 40 home runs, which is, you know, exactly what you would ask for from him. So that's a guy that right now I've seen strides that he's made since even his rookie year. He stayed healthy this year. He played the most games on the Yankees this year, and that's a guy that I'd want to keep around.
A couple of things I just want to throw out there. You said he was cutting down on his Ks. He struck out 160 times this year. All right, I'm just going to throw that out there. Him and Stanton actually 158, 157.
You can strike out that much though when you're hitting 290. If he's hitting 240, that's a different story.
I think we need to change our expectations, right?
Sure.
Aaron Judge is going to command $30 to $35 million a year after 30, right? That's the contract Aaron Judge is looking for as a non-ever gotten contract type of guy, right? Now, I don't know who his agent is, but he's in New York. So that agent might want more than that. So when I sit around and I look at the success that I'm seeing from guys like, I don't know, Vlad Guerrero Jr.'s and the Acunas and the Albies and those guys that are producing above the threshold, hitting plus 300, hitting at a better OPB. Look at a Juan Soto. Why would I give Aaron Judge that kind of money? Because clearly, with Aaron Judge wasn't even a difference maker in the playoff game. Not this year, not last year. That was Stanton.
Difference maker to getting him there.
And we know Stanton. One thing we do know, Stanton has. This is not a great thing for Yankee fans, but Stanton has been a much better playoff clutch hitter than Aaron Judge. So we got to really have a hard look. It is. I can tell you, in my line of business professionally, we all think everybody's great, right? Oh yeah, he's the face of the team. Oh, he's amazing for that team, that division. Oh yeah, we really have to take a good look in the mirror and say, is Aaron Judge's individual value, after all what Greg and Charlie told you, right, about injuries, and we have to say, is that better than the 4 guys we can get for him? Is it better? And honestly, if the right deal is made, absolutely not. He's got to go. You can't have an outfield making that kind of money. Stanton at 30. You still got Aaron Hicks sitting on the couch making a fortune.
Chuck's favorite player.
You can't do that for owners that are trying to fatten their own pockets, right? Spend less money. You can't spend that kind of money.
So I feel like this Aaron Judge conversation is something that's going to go on this show throughout the offseason and probably into next year. But let's shift gears to the NL wildcard game. Ooh. I don't know if you guys had a chance to watch, but that is the reason people love playoff baseball. Yes. Here you had a team in the Cardinals that got hot in August, went on just doing what the Cardinals do, went on a 15-game winning streak with, solid vets. The middle of their order was just monsters with O'Neill, Arenado, and Goldie. And Waino went out there and performed like it was 06 against Max Scherzer, and it went down to the wire. What are some of your thoughts real quickly? Try to keep – I know you guys got to go, so just try to keep it down. What are some of the thoughts on that wild card game? We'll start with you, Deck.
That was a great game. I thought maybe that was going to be a segue since you mentioned 06. We were going to talk about Beltran potentially being the Mets manager or something.
That's for another day because I have a lot to say about that.
Don't try to take a jab at my man for taking that strike 3 look at him.
It's a jab at Greg for the Mets, but it's just.
Waino still got that elite curveball, so I'm not even mad about it.
Hey, listen, he's 40. He's 40 years old. Pitched excellent in that game. Chris Taylor walk-off magic. The Dodgers were almost very well eliminated in the one game, in the wild card game, which really goes to show you how dangerous that game really is for any team. It's got me rocking back into my freaking comforter over here. How nuts and how electric that can be. It's seriously one pitch. Exactly. It's a nice game 7. And teams are just not ready for it from the beginning. And we saw it with the Yankees. Cardinals, however, they definitely showed out and they played great baseball. Unfortunately, they lost. They're not as talented of a team as the Dodgers. The better team won, but the Cardinals fought hard, so props to them. But it's just a great game.
You
know what's interesting about playoff baseball?
Everything.
This is the first year I could think about in a while where I didn't really watch a ton of baseball. Why? Because out here they only show Tampa games. They're not the most entertaining team to watch, right? Playoffs are a little bit different, right? What you gotta love about the Cardinals is you're talking aging Hall of Fame type talent. The Yadi Molinas, Wainwright probably won't get in, but he'll get some votes down the line. His jersey will get retired. Small ball players like Edmonds. I think he scored on a wild pitch from just being aggressive, right? Remember Tommy Edman? You remember him, Declan? Right?
Yeah. Fantasy letdown this year.
Not more than DJ though.
He's the reason
Yeah.
I finished second and you finished in fourth. But that's a whole nother stop.
Yeah, I mean,
That's a whole nother topic.
you lost in the championship. Chuck.
It's
Oh,
okay.
Wait, can we
You didn't-
congratulate Chuck?
You didn't make the championship.
Thank you. Thank
That's,
you.
hey, you don't get any
You
money for
didn't
coming in
make it.
second place.
Hey,
so.
you do actually. You do.
No, you don't. What money did you get paid?
All right.
So,
Let's not get sidetracked.
so Greg,
Like,
Let's not
out
so
of
get
his
to my
ass,
sidetracked.
point. So Greg, to my point,
Man.
what you gotta love, and you've been hearing me say this all week in our chat: moments over the math. The
Yes.
moments are bigger than the analytics, and this is what gets teams beat. This is what got Cole beat by Bogarts with the home run.
Bogarts. Mhm.
This is what got by the Arubian, right? I met homie in Aruba, true story. This is what will get you beat. Teams will go out there playing the numbers. Dave Roberts, who's another one of those moments over math guys in his Red Sox era. I'm going with Taylor. That's my guy. You heard him in the post game.
Whoa.
Went up there, took care of business. Who cares that he can't hit a curveball? Didn't matter the other night.
You guys remember Chris Taylor from some of our talks?
Yeah. I honestly I don't know what you said, but Chuck, before they go,
A lot.
I have to ask Paul Lawson and Declan, who do you have in the World Series?
Mm.
What are your World Series picks? Well, give me your DS picks and then your World Series picks.
Am I going first?
Yeah, Paul.
no,
Go ahead,
Paul is
Paul.
yours, for sure.
So I'm definitely going Astros coming out of the AL. I got them winning this series against White Sox. They just tied their game up in the fifth, by the way, 4-4. I got the Rays, obviously. Shout out to Florida. About to become a Rays fan. Who knows? In the Central, I'm going. I mean, in the other side, I'm going Dodgers, and I'm going Atlanta. I think Atlanta finally gets over the hump. I don't trust Milwaukee, and I think World Series wise, I got Astros, Dodgers, round 3. That's what I got. You on mute, Greg?
Wouldn't that be round 2? Or am I?
No,
Is that
he
round
said
two?
for World Series. He said for
I said
World
World
Series. He
Series.
got Astros, Dodgers. He got Astros.
Oh, I
Dodgers
thought you
for
meant
World
round 3, like the third time they met.
No.
No. I see what you mean now.
You blinded by the gold chain, Dak. Let me tuck that in for you.
This guy.
Hey, I'll pop the chain. Let's go.
Real gold, baby. It's a little
Any day
harder
of the
to do.
All right, Deck, who you got?
Yeah, so I got the Rays taking down the Red Sox. I actually have that series in 3.
It might go fast.
It really is. It's definitely an overmatch. Overmatch.
Kelly got a lot to say about this episode.
My upset is I do have the White Sox going. I think this team's going to somehow find a way to make it to the World Series. I trust them. And in the NL, I really trust the Brewers and that staff. Despite Devin Williams going down after punching a wall, happens to the best of us. And that staff is still insane with Freddie Peralta, Corbin Burns, Brandon Woodruff. And Chuck says it best, and he says it all the time. If Yelich gets hot, that team is something else to look out for in October. And then I got, listen, it would be nice to see the Giants win. I hope they do, just for the sake of baseball. It's always fun to see those teams do it. But I think the Dodgers are finally going to take them down. That team is just built for October. So give me the Dodgers and then against facing the Brewers, White Sox against the Rays, and I got the Brewers winning it all over the White Sox.
Wow.
Bit of a hot take.
Definitely.
But hey, Greg, you know that staff. Greg, you know that staff.
I do know that staff. Chuck, what's your thoughts
on the wild card game or my picks?
Your picks. Division Series and then World Series.
I got the Astros over the White Sox, Rays easily over the Red Sox. And that was evident last night. Boston was outmatched in all aspects of the game. In the National League, I got the Brew Crew over the Braves just because I think the Braves don't have that energy. I think
especially with Acuna out.
Right. Once he went down, it changed the dynamic of the team, and they won a terrible division. So, I got the Brewers, and then I think the Dodgers will pull it out over the Giants, and then I think it'll be Brewers, Astros, and I think the Astros win it all. It's just they took so much heat for what they did. Not that it was right or wrong, but they took a lot of heat, and this is their we could win chip on the shoulder kind of moment. So I think they'll take it.
I think they've
right management for that.
I think they've had a chip on their shoulder since it happened, even after losing the World Series to the Nats. Like they've had a chip on their shoulder. So for me, I got the Astros over the White Sox. I got the Rays, obviously. Got the Astros going to the World Series. And in the NL, I have the Giants over the Dodgers. I just think it's just one of those years. Like, I love the talent in LA, but you don't win 107 games and have career years by virtually everyone, but on an accident, you know? So I think their talent is there to win. And then I have the Giants beating the Brewers to go to the World Series. And I have the Giants winning one of those odd-year World Series. That's my hot take.
That's interesting. That would be fun for baseball. Look at Chuckles believing
that's just. But I know Paul and Deck. I know you guys got to go, but Deck, before you go, I just have to make mention. You talked a lot of smack about my Mets. Called us one of the biggest jokes in baseball.
I did.
So before I go, I have to ask you, how does it feel to have a top 2 Cy Young candidate, a top 3 MVP finisher, your GM close out of his IG, go dark on his IG at the end of the season, and you just sit there with your hands on your face, and you, with World Series aspirations, don't even make it to a divisional series? How does that not feel like a joke?
Before he answers that question, I'm gonna sign off because only a joke could answer that one.
Is that not a joke?
I don't know. Thanks for the fake laughs, as always, from Paul. To answer that question, I'll say this. How does it feel to hire a third manager in 5 years?
I mean, if you want to deflect, it's okay, because I asked you about the Yankees, not
the
Mets.
You mentioned the Mets.
The Mets made the wrong hire, and I've been very adamant about
which time is this now?
So, I mean, the Yankees also made the wrong hire, and it's abundantly clear.
Well, at least when the Yankees make the wrong hire, they go to the playoffs every year. I mean,
the Yankees didn't make the playoffs, as far as I'm concerned.
We've made the playoffs every year, Aaron Boone.
You made the play-in. You did not make the playoffs.
You didn't even have to get that far.
All right, you did not make the playoffs. You made the
okay,
play-in.
but that's still the playoffs. The Cardinals.
No, it's not,
dude. If you celebrate with champagne, we talked about
and that was, and we spoke about how dumb it was because they did not make the playoffs.
Either way,
play-in is not the playoffs.
Dude, no, it's not. Is it called a play-in game?
I can see you trying to save face here, and I get it. It's cute.
Shut up. Is it called a play-in game or is it called a wild card game? Yes or no?
It's called a wild card play-in game. Yes.
No, it's not called a play-in game.
It is.
Find that on the sheet.
Let me ask you a question.
Where is it called a play-in game?
If 2 teams are playing for one spot, what is that called?
It's a playoff game. It's game 7.
No, it's called a play-in game.
It's a one-game playoff game. Actually, no.
Chuck, can you answer that for me,
Chuck, is it called a playoff or the play-in? I mean, what is it actually called?
I think I want to call Steph at the moment. Moderate this.
It's not called a play-in game anywhere in America.
Guys, you're fighting over 2 crappy teams that play in our city. There's no reason for it.
But here's the thing.
They both stink. They're both bad.
It's okay for me to admit that. That can't even admit that his organization that had World Series aspiration and waited till the 9th inning of game 162 for the Rays to have to give them a game because they didn't put their closer in the game. Okay. And then go get trounced with your $37 million ace on the mound, that they're a joke. And then after the game, your GM goes dark on IG like he's in middle school. What are we doing here?
Yeah, I think that's kind of funny considering your team was in first place for 10008 games and finished in third.
Again,
and the worst
I have addressed all of this. I have addressed all of this.
Okay,
I am addressing you and the Yankees now, and the tumultuous end to your season after having World Series aspirations.
We were comparing the Mets and the Yankees. Yeah, no, it's bad. Totally. They should have, listen, this is a team that was projected to win the division. We all had it happening. And going into the playoffs and making noise. I thought they would go to the ALDS. Maybe ALCS if they got past the Rays, but they had to get past the Red Sox first in the one-game wildcard playoff game, and they didn't do it. So it is what it is.
It is what it is. That's that low energy I wasn't expecting from somebody that was talking hot all season. But deflecting Deck.
I think you
have an appointment.
Can you hear me over these freaking Call of Duty headphones? Though I gotta know.
Yes, I can hear you.
I'm good. Well, just know this: you can call this a joke all you want, and the team wasn't good. You had them winning on Tuesday, so.
Yes, I said I had them winning.
So if you knew they were this big joke, why'd you pick them to make the playoffs?
Because I thought Garrett Cole would actually show up, but he didn't. So there's that.
He's not wrong.
I mean, I guess we all did. But
if you listen to me pregame, I said Cole wasn't going to be sharp, and he wasn't.
He wasn't Chuck. Nah, Chuck, I'll give Chuck his flowers before I head out. That's how I'll leave today.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend, everyone. But I will say, Chuck, on the money from the beginning about this entire team. Never flip-flopped. Never had them missing the playoffs and then picking them to win a game in the playoffs. Never went one way or the other. He was always consistent. And I agree with everything he's about to say as to who they trade and whatnot. And also, my Giants are losing 31-21 this weekend against the Cowboys. But take care.
See you, Doug.
Chuck is going to stay on with us, and we're going to invite a special guest. As you can see, it's okay. It's okay. You're okay. It's nap time, apparently. She must have missed nap time at school today. So we have, hold on, when he gets here. Just give him a toy. It usually works. Chuck, I know you know how that goes.
I know it's always the most random objects. I could sit here and give them like a tissue or something, and they're happy with it.
Okay, so while we have my esteemed coworker Josh here, who's a 49er fan, as we transition to some football, and we got some big matchups this weekend. So while he's connecting to audio, Chuck, Jets are playing Atlanta in London. All right, we got the early start. What's your take on this game?
Listen, they could win. Without a doubt, they have a shot, especially with Ridley out, Gage out. The Falcons also have a safety out. I forgot his name. I can't think of his name off the top of my head.
Does it matter in that secondary, really?
Well, it's like their best secondary player. So when he's out, it's like going from, bad to worse. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. It's just something about being a Jets fan for, 20 plus years, knowing that whenever they're supposed to win a game, they end up losing.
The cynicism.
So right. So I still have that pessimistic view, but they should win. There's no excuse. The Falcons are bad on both sides of the ball. I expect them to build off what they did offensively last week. The defense has been great all year. John Franklin Myers just got paid, so they should win.
It's about time we pay a DN for him to stay and not trade him. What's going on, Josh? Welcome to Smoke and Mirrors for the first time. Josh, you're on with myself and Chuck.
What's up, Chuck? What's up?
We're gonna get to the 49ers Cardinals in a second, but we're talking Jets Falcons right now. And what I will say about the Jets, Chuck, you're right. The Jets defense has been playing a lot better than people give them credit for. But I want to talk about Matty Ice real quick. He looks like the corpse of Eli Manning at the end of his career. He's really bad, and it's really affecting Kyle Pitts. Oh, Kaylee said, "What's up?"
What's up?
But I want to pick the Jets, but like you said, there's the cynicism, and when they're supposed to win games, they don't. And I don't know if I trust Zach Wilson to have 2 good games in a row already. Is it possible? Yes. But the time zone, the difference, I don't know. There's a lot of factors at play. So I'm probably going to go in a close one, like a 21-19. I'll probably pick Atlanta. What about you, Chuck?
I guess I'll go Falcons on like a late second field goal, 24-21.
Corbin, you're in New York, so you got to talk Jet football.
Oh, yes. Considering I'm in New York and I hate the Jets. Wonderful.
Wow.
Starting off hot.
Yeah, I don't think the Jets can score. I really don't. I think that it's
So you think last week was a fluke?
Absolutely. I think Tennessee's defense is awful. And I also think that I think that Atlanta there is anybody can really score on the Jets. So I picked the Titans to win. I picked the Falcons to win. I will go with 28-10.
Oh wow. You give us no credit.
I don't like the Jets. I don't think that even though they do have my defensive coordinator, they would be better off taking my offensive coordinator from San Francisco.
So what did the Jets do to you that you have such animosity towards them?
You're
not even in the same conference.
Well, the Jet fans remind me of the Met fan, and like they have these over they have these overly huge expectations every year, and it never really pans out.
You are bugging because if anything, Yankee fans are probably the most obnoxious fans in all of sports.
We have a lot to back it up with, though.
That doesn't. So it's okay to be obnoxious? Is that what you're telling me?
A little bit.
Copy. Got you. So, let's move over to this key matchup, divisional matchup for you. 49ers Cardinals. What's your take on it?
Well, just listening to Kyle Shanahan's press conference. It's live with all the players right now. Jimmy Garoppolo's out, so Trey Lance will be the starter. And I'm happy for that, honestly. George Kittle is doubtful, which I'm not happy because he didn't practice today because he has that lingering calf issue.
Oh, man, Debo's going to go off.
Debo, Brandon Ayuk, these guys, and Mohamed Sanu, those guys got to all step up. I think, defensively we're pretty healthy besides the guys that are out for the year with the corners that are out for the year. But, the issue with Arizona is that they have a extremely potent pass rush, but they also have guys on the back end that can really play. The one thing that we can expose them with, though, is the run game. They don't stop the run too well. They give up about 5.5 yards per carry for the run, and that's what we do best. So
I'm gonna hold that thought. I'm gonna get to that in a second. Ray Jarvis, shout out to Ray Jarvis at the Gray Areas in the comments, said Ayuk is getting hurt by his coach. And I had to agree. What's going on there? Why is he so far down the totem pole? What happened there?
I don't think so. I think it's I think with Brandon Ayuk, it's more of a thing where he did not come into camp as focused as he should have. From what I'm reading, just with all the insiders, develop his second year of development with the plays and all this other stuff. So then what ended up happening is that coupled with the fact that Trent Sherfield started playing really well. You heard me?
Yeah, I heard you.
Yeah. Trent Sherfield started playing really well. That combined with the fact that Brandon Ayuk was struggling second year with the playbook stuff and meetings in the beginning of the year. I think now he's starting to get it a little bit. But that's really been it with Brandon Ayuk. Talented though.
Yeah, Chuck, what's your take on this game?
Listen, I want to say I was wrong about the Cardinals coming into this season. I thought Cliff Kingsbury was on the hot seat. We saw Kyler kind of struggle after he got hurt last year because I think once you take out the running aspect of his game, he can't really sit in the pocket, and win games with his arm. People don't understand that his legs bring such a dynamic aspect, and teams can't really account that dude's fast, Lamar Jackson fast. So Kyler's rolling, the Cardinals are rolling. And like you guys said, the Cardinals have a surprisingly good defense, great pass rush. They added J.J. Watt in the offseason. So, and I think the 49ers are just struggling too much with injuries. It's going to be Trey Lance's first game starting, right? This is his first game from start to finish. So I don't know. And I think we've seen all year where rookie quarterbacks haven't made that, impact right away. So I think the Cardinals are going to win this game. But I've come to learn over the years, NFC West divisional matchups, they're always tough, low-scoring games. Just like last night before things started to get out of hand late, that was a close game. It was only 7-3 at the half. So I think we'll see another close game, but I think the Cardinals remain undefeated.
Definitely.
I will say this. Just, the Cardinals are undefeated, but how their tests have been the Titans, the Jags, the Vikings, and I know they played the Rams, but if the Rams had a bad game, the Rams are entitled to that. That's what made them all world beaters because they beat the Rams. But they played the Titans, the Jags, and the Vikings also. So
you're saying they played cupcakes and they kind of got over. That's what you're saying.
Absolutely, we could be fool's gold because Arizona was fool's gold last year when they did the same thing.
They were.
You said something earlier that I kind of want to touch back on. You said that Arizona can't stop the run, but outside of game one, with Elijah Mitchell healthy, when have the 49ers shown they can run the ball consistently this season? Shanahan's been really coy about what's going on in the backfield as far as injuries and stuff. You don't know who's healthy week to week. So how can you count on that with the rookie quarterback?
Well, Elijah Mitchell's back this week.
Is he back? He just said in the press conference?
Yeah, he's questionable to probable. So like he's right. He's back. He had a shoulder thing that he had to really take care of, and I think he'll be back. And we have really good backs. They're just all hurt. But I think now that we have two rookies, I think Trey Sermon and Elijah Mitchell, those two guys will I think that they'll carry the day. And especially if Elijah Mitchell is back, we have like more of a thunder and lightning type.
You got some high expectations for an entirely rookie backfield with the QB
Elijah
and the two running backs.
He certainly proved himself game one, though.
It's against the Lions, bro. It's the Lions.
The Arizona Cardinals running game is not very good. Their running defense, I should say, their run defense is not very good. I don't think that they have. So for me, and if you look at player for player on that line right there, they have guys that are literally at either the end of their careers or approaching it fast, and which they can pass rush really well, but when JJ Watt, especially him, when he was at his height, he did both really, really well. I mean, I think now with all of the injuries and stuff like that, I don't think he could do both like he used to. I really don't. I mean, that's just my personal opinion. I don't think JJ Watt will be able to do both well like he used to.
So Chuck, give me a final prediction. You guys gotta give me a prediction.
Well, I think with Kittle out, it hurts, especially with a rookie quarterback, because all throughout, history, tight end is always that safety blanket, especially over the middle of the field when a quarterback's in trouble, and especially one of Kittle's magnitude that blocks so well can win down the field. So I feel like him not being out hurts Lance more than anything. So I'm going to take the Cardinals 27-21.
Okay, what about you, Josh?
I think I honestly think that the 49ers shocked the world. What everybody thinks. I think this is the start of the Cardinals train starting to go downhill. I think that I think Kyle Shanahan dials in. I think what's missing about all this is that out of all the rookie quarterbacks, Kyle Shanahan is by far the best play caller of all the offensive coordinators that are there. So like he is going to put Trey Lance in a position that makes him successful. So that's why I think the 49ers will win the game, ironically, by the same score, 27-20.
So I'm going to go with the Cards. I just think they have too much offensive firepower, and the Niners just have too many things going wrong. I don't think they're not talented. I think the Niners can get them back. But this time with no Kittle, Lance first start, the all-rookie backfield, I just think that's too many factors going against them. And I got the Cards 31-21.
Oh, it's kind of a big score there, right?
Yeah, that is.
I mean,
there are some other key matchups that I think are really intriguing coming up this week. One of them being Bengals-Packers. Yeah. So, Josh, what's your thoughts on that game right there?
I think,
and I believe T. Higgins is back.
I think what's an underappreciated thing right now in Green Bay is the fact that I think Green Bay is their offensive line has been protecting Aaron Rodgers a little bit better. And I do think that their defense, besides the first game, has been playing pretty well. I think their defense has been playing pretty well, and people are not like really seeing that a lot about the Packers. I think their defense is playing really well with guys that you don't really know, but mark my word, they have two stud corners. One's a rookie.
Jair's hurt.
But, I mean, the rookie is pretty good, I think, as well.
No, I agree with you. I forgot his name. But I think even with them getting Jalen Smith, Jair being out with the offensive firepower on the Bengals, I think that's going to be a tough ask.
But I mean, how much for me? How much, what do you think about the Bengals? How much firepower do you think they really have when it comes to, like, remember, Aaron Rodgers is almost like a defender too, because when you are calling plays offensively, you know that guy on the other side is going to score some points. So that factors into your third down calls. It factors into what you call third down, how aggressive you are. And I think Aaron Rodgers is like the 12th defender on that team. So
that's an interesting take. Never heard it put like that. Chuck, what's your thoughts?
I think this is going to be a closer game than people expect. Packers defense is bad, like real bad. And
wow, that's a total opposite of what Josh just said.
I know, no, their defense is pretty bad, and you could throw the ball on them. And I feel like they got exposed last year in the playoffs, especially by Brady in that championship game. And their defense has been shaky this year. And I think the Bengals have 3 receivers that could win battles downfield and put up points for them. So I do think the Packers squeak one out, but I do think it's going to be like a 1 or 2 point game, especially since the Bengals are playing at home again, and they had an 11-day rest period since they played last week on Thursday. So when you combine those 2 things, I think it's going to be closer than we expect.
I'm going to have to side with Chuck on this. I don't think that Green Bay defense has enough to stop Joe Burrow and the Bengals between Chase, Higgins, and Tyler Boyd, who's the forgotten guy over there, but is also a very good receiver. Even if Mixon doesn't play, I still think with P. Ryan and I think Evans is a rookie maybe, they have enough to put up points to go blow for blow with Aaron Rodgers. And also what I think Green Bay struggles with, we all know Devontae Adams is all world. Who is that second guy? We still don't know that all these years. Who is it? Alan Lazard? Is it MVD or MVS or Randall Cobb? No, none of these guys have stepped up. And even Tunyon, his red zone target from last year that had like 10 TDs, he's been a no-show this season. So give me the Bengals. I got the Bengals 27-24.
Wow, you have the Bengals outright.
Yeah. Yes, I do. No OT. And another game that I also think is really intriguing is Browns Chargers.
Oof.
And I think personally for me, this is the game of the week. Because as we all know on the show, I have a huge affinity for Justin Herbert since he started after Tyrod Taylor got hurt. And I personally think Justin Herbert can finish this year as a top 5 quarterback in this league. And he has all the tools, all the weapons to do so, especially with a healthy Eckler. Now, Chuck, I'm going to go to you. What is your take on this game?
Well, I think these are 2 great teams, and I think they're both going to eventually make the postseason. I'm a little upset that it's the Browns' second road game, Chargers' second home game, and these are things I always look into because traveling, I think, takes a big role in the NFL. But the Chargers can't really have a consistent run game, and their coach has said it multiple times. But that's fine because they can air it out with Herbert all game. And they got 2 big body receivers to his left and to his right, and Mike Williams, who has finally put it together, it looks like, and Keenan Allen, who, in my opinion, is a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. Those are 2 guys that could win. But when you look at the Browns could run the ball up and down the field all game, especially with Chubb and Hunt. Their defense is so underrated. They ranked first in I forgot what the stat was, but their defense doesn't get the credit that it should. And I think the Browns are really well coached. Now, we heard the other day that Baker has a torn labrum, and he said he could play through it, but I think labrums are probably one of the worst injuries an athlete can get, because once you get that, your shoulder, starts to go. And so I don't know if they could rely on Baker to throw 100 times a game, but they could run the ball, which helps them. So I think this is going to be another close game, and that's probably why the money line is even right now. There's no spread on this game right now. It's a pick 'em. So I do like the Chargers just because they're home and the Browns are coming out west.
Josh, you look rather perplexed. What's going on?
Because I was thinking to myself this whole time as to whether I think this game is going to be good or not. I think
Really?
I think in score it might be good, but I think it's going to be a lower score game than we think.
Why?
Well, because number one, I think the Browns have a legit defense. I think their defense is legit. I do think that I like to see that's just the way I really measure games. One of the factors of how I measure games is competition, and I think the Chargers have played some defenses that were really bad. At the same time, I don't think that the Browns' offense is really good at this point. I think the most underrated injury for any playoff team, any team that wanted to make the playoffs, has been Jarvis Landry. I think Jarvis Landry, I would take Jarvis and not have Odell because I think Baker works better with Jarvis than he does with Odell. I think with Odell, it's nothing against Odell. It's just that he's such a superstar receiver. Baker stares him down all the time. And
that's a Baker problem. That's not an Odell problem.
Then that becomes a Browns problem. A Baker problem is a Browns problem. So that's why I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. I think the game will be somewhere like 20-14, 20-13. I don't think Justin Herbert's going to light it up like that, like he has, because I think the Browns defense is really legit.
Corbin, the comment section has a question for you. They ask who do you think is good? Because you've essentially shit on everybody you've spoken about, except the 49ers.
Who do I think? I mean, I think Arizona's really good. I think Arizona's really good.
You could have fooled me the way you spoke about them.
No, I said that they're good. They just give up 5.5 yards a carry. I think that's a big problem. I also think, in the AFC, I think Buffalo is the best team, and they're going to prove it this weekend.
Hold on. You just ahead of me a little bit. Real quick on the Chargers-Browns. You kind of touched on it. I do think the Browns' defense is elite. Oh, also, you don't know. I made a hot take in the beginning of the season that the Browns won't make the playoffs because they're the Browns, and they're going to do things that allow them to not make the playoffs.
There you go.
So that was my hot take for the year. And I'm going to stick to that. I'm riding with that, right, wrong and strong. Even and this, to me, is a game where and here, I'm going to do – Baker is not a franchise quarterback. I'm going to say it. He's not. He's touted as one, but to me, he doesn't perform at that high level that's needed for a team to be considered a contender. So that's what I mean, where I don't see him as that franchise guy. He has capabilities, but I don't think he can follow through. But that being said, their defense is elite, but I do think it's going to be lower scoring, which kind of sucks for my fantasy team. I got to think about that. But I'm going to pick the Chargers just because I think their offense is better than the Browns' offense. And the Chargers' defense, let's not sugarcoat it. The Chargers have a very good defense and very good playmakers on that defense. Okay, I think Derwin James is one of the best safeties in the league. And Florida I think – what you said?
Florida State.
Of course. Here you go. Real quick, before we get to the other game of the week that Peter said, Giants-Cowboys. Do we have to spend a lot of time on this or no?
For me, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care for the Giants.
I personally think I've said it all year. The Cowboys are the best, the class of that division. They're the best team in that division. And frankly, at this point, it's in the Giants' best nature to lose. Let the young guys get some reps. Let them play well. But winning does nothing for the Giants. Because if you make the players, going to be outed in the first round anyway. They don't have the talent to compete with those juggernauts in the NFC. So we all got the Cowboys on Sunday.
Yeah, but I will say this. I can't recall the last time a Giants-Cowboys game was like a blowout. I feel like it's always been like a field goal game, a touchdown game. And no matter if one team's really good and one team's really bad, kind of like this year how the Cowboys have been head over heels better than the Giants. But it's like you put the game on and it's like tied going into the fourth quarter. So, So I don't expect a blowout. But if the Cowboys win by 10, I'll be like, all right. Of course.
I totally agree. And I'll even go as far as this caveat. The game is in Dallas, right?
Yeah.
Or in Arlington. The Giants are going to win.
Wow. Giants with the upset.
Yeah, it's something strange always happens when the Giants they split. It seems like every year, and it's like I maybe my memory is wrong, but throughout the years, I feel like the away team more or less wins, or it's a very close game, like Chuck was saying. But I think the Giants win this week.
The one thing I will say is the Giants corners are pretty good, and the Cowboys' strength are their receivers. So I'm really interested to see how that matchup unfolds. On the flip side, I wonder where Trayvon Diggs is going to be. Who is he going to follow? Especially with no Slate. It looks like no Slate, no Shep. So you're looking at another Kadarius Toney. Shout out to my Gators. John Ross, and who's the who's the third guy there that I'm losing? I don't even count Evan Ingram as a receiving target anymore because he blows.
Are you talking about Galladay?
Yeah, Galladay. So I could see what you guys are saying as far as, division game, something weird happening. It would not surprise me if the Giants do pull the upset, but I'm just going to go with the more talented team here and have the Cowboys winning this outright.
Yeah, Dallas should win. They should win. And they should have won the last 3 years. Like swept the Giants.
if Dak stays healthy in this game, I think they win going away. I mean, but don't get me wrong, I think Daniel Jones will make a few highlight reel plays, either with his legs or downfield. Now that they have John Ross and Kadarius Toney on the outside, just because it allows Jason Garrett to open up his playbook a little more, something he hasn't done since he's been here.
I think Sunday might come down to the running backs. They struggled early on, but it looks like they both found their footing. So I think the Cowboys are going to feed Zeke. Saquon's going to be heavily involved, especially with a Cowboys underrated pass rush. Once they lost to Marcus Lawrence, we were like, who the hell is going to rush the passer for them? But Micah Parsons playing on the edge, he's been something. So
he's a stud. You knew he was a stud coming out of Penn State.
So I think it's going to come down to the running backs.
All right, last game here. Bills Chiefs. All right, Josh, you said the Bills are going to pull the upset.
Yeah.
Now, I got to take for you, but tell me why you think the Bills are going to pull the upset.
I think Buffalo. They knew how close they were last year in the AFC Championship game. They saw that they were really right there with the Chiefs throughout that game, and I think Josh Allen, another year of him. I think he's an incredible quarterback. I think Josh Allen is really good.
Declan would have loved to hear this. Oh man,
I think Stephon Diggs is an elite receiver. I think Zach Moss is just what the doctor ordered in the tight zone, I call it, which is the 10-yard line and in. He receives out the backfield, and then the defense is really incredible. On the flip side, I think the Chiefs have an incredible offense per usual, but I think their defense is so bad, man. I think their defense is so bad. I don't like. I might literally not like anything about their defense. Like I'm talking about as a collective, not individual players. I'm saying like each position. I don't think I like any one of their positions in this game against any one of the Bills' positions. I think the Bills can get enough stops, and I don't think the Chiefs can get enough stops. And I think that's why it's been going the way it's been going for the Chiefs. That's why they're 2-2. I think that's real reason. It doesn't matter if they're home, away. They gave up 16 points in the fourth quarter to the Chargers and lost that game. And I think the Bills are more talented than the Chargers. I do. So that's
really?
why
I disagree with that just because of the running back situation there. But
which running back? Which team?
Eckler is better than both running backs in Buffalo.
Yeah, but you have a better you have a better top receiver at Buffalo, better receiving core. I think you have a better quarterback at this point in Buffalo.
Debatable.
I know you love Herbert.
I'm not talking about the quarterbacks. I'm talking about the receiving core. But yes, I do love Herbert. Hold on, I want to get to Chuck real quick. Chuck, what's your take on this game?
It's going to be a hell of a game, and that's why it's on Sunday night. Statement game for the Bills. They got to win, especially after what happened last year. They want to be the cream of the crop in the AFC. They got to go and win this game. And the game is in Kansas City, right?
You think it's a must-win?
Not a. I wouldn't say a must-win because I think the Chiefs are going to win. But I do think if the Bills want to make a statement, I think they have to win this game. And Josh is 100% correct. Chiefs defense is horrific. And last week they blew out the Eagles, but that game could have been much closer if the Eagles didn't commit 400 billion penalties. That being said, I think what hurts the Bills, like you just said, Greg, is their lack of running game. And the best way to beat Mahomes, just like the best way to beat Brady, is to keep them on the sideline. And you do that by running the ball. Josh Allen can't be your best running back. So they need Singletary or Moss to take the rock and run wild with it. And if they don't do that, they're in trouble. And last thing, quickly, Josh Allen has a habit of having butterfingers when it comes to big games. He did it against, I believe it was the Texans in the playoffs 2 years ago. He did it last year in the championship game against the Chiefs. For some reason, there's always that key fumble that costs his team. When they have momentum, he fumbles, and then it's a turnover, and then his
best DJ impression.
Right, exactly. So with that being said, I like Mahomes over Allen, just like I'm sure everybody else does, and I think that is what wins the game for Kansas City Sunday.
So Josh, you got Bills, and Chuck, you got Chiefs. I'm gonna have to side with Chuck on this one, and I do agree with you that the Kansas City defense has been bad, but I do think they're in that kind of bend don't break area, and being that they are decent against the run, they're not like great at stuff, but they're decent enough that I think it forces Josh Allen into a lot of pass only situations, and when you force any team into those type of situations, they become easier to defend. And Mahomes is Mahomes. He's just going to do what he does. Josh, you're not wrong about Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, but you also have the Tyreek Hill, who once he gets going is unstoppable, as we saw last week. One thing I will say, and once again, I think I made this point last week, I do think on offense, though, for a tad bit, the Chiefs do miss Sammy Watkins and his ability to be that decoy receiver. Kind of like how we saw Cooper Kupp was in the Monday night game last night, opening up the middle of the field for Robert Woods, who went off last night.
Right. I will say this, Greg. I just want to hit you with a couple of numbers.
All right, here we go.
Ready? 29, 36, 30, 30.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the points that Kansas City has given up in each of these 4 games. And the teams that they played have not exactly been Joe Montana and the San Francisco 49ers. They played the Eagles, they played Cleveland in 2 of those 4 games. I mean, Lamar's Lamar, obviously, and the Chargers are pretty good.
Wait a minute. You're talking about teams that have legit offenses, though. Chargers, Ravens.
But what does the Browns and Philly getting 30 points against your defense should not be allowed?
So here's the thing.
Century.
Okay, I get it. But this is also a new era of football, right? If they gave up 30 and they scored how much? 40-something?
2 to 30.
Exactly. So that wasn't a close game.
Okay.
Even if they go, and that's what I mean here. If they have that offense that if Buffalo's not running the ball well and they're basically playing pass coverage, they can run up the score in the blink of an eye. And they have the ability to do that. I don't think Buffalo is offensively at that level just yet. I think they're really good, but I don't think they're on a Chiefs offensive level just yet.
I think what we're missing here, though, is Buffalo's defense is really good, man. They have 2 shutouts this year.
Against come on, Davis Mills, bro.
It's the NFL.
Yo,
time out. Quick.
No. Go ahead,
quick. Josh, you are right. Buffalo has a fantastic defense, and I know that because in the league with Greg, I have the Bills defense. I'm in first. But the thing that they struggle with, they have an elite secondary, probably the best in the NFL, but they don't have that pass rusher. And that's going to hurt them against Mahomes. If Mahomes could sit in the pocket all game and the Chiefs could get the run game going, then the Bills are in a lot of trouble.
I mean, I don't think their pass rush is terrible. I like Jerry Hughes. I like Gregory Rousseau, who's a rookie. I like Star I like the Buffalo's defense, especially with their 4 down. But I just listen. If we're agreeing that one side of this game is completely awful, like terrible, then that's the Chiefs' defense. That side is awful. The Bills don't sport anything awful. The Chiefs and the Chiefs, they have a tremendous offense. I think the Bills are very good and good. I think the Chiefs are extraordinary and awful. So I think that's why it's I think that for me is what turns it right there, because I don't think the Chiefs are going to get enough stops. They could hardly get enough stops against the Browns. So I don't think they would get enough stops against Buffalo.
I mean, that's fair. I do think their offense being so elite plays into the Bills not being able to keep up. That's my take.
I mean, I guess we have to see.
Yeah, we'll see.
You know, but even if the Chiefs give up another 30 points, they could score 30 points like that. So
yeah, and that's why I'm going Chiefs. Josh, before we get out of here, I also know you're big into baseball. So give me your World Series picks.
Oh boy, I'm just recovering.
You're just recovering?
That's
what you get for talking all that shit about Met fans. Good for you.
I'm just recovering from my Yankee loss, man.
You guys deserve that. You had that coming to you, just so you know.
Oh, we had it coming. That's such a Met thing.
I know. No. I said it all year.
See, and Chuck is a Yankee fan. You guys had that coming. Period. That team was flawed from jump. How it was built.
We relied on 2 guys, but anyway.
Yes.
So I think World Series is going to be. First of all, it's hard to predict who the San Francisco Giants are. Because I don't know any, like they were supposed to win like 60, 70 games this year, and they 107 games. I think though it'll still be the Dodgers, and just watching it up close and personal, no team is better than the Rays. I like no team in the American League is better than the Rays. They 1 through 9 can all hit a home run. 1 through 9 and 1 through 9 can all steal a base. 1 through 9 are all really good defensively. And then the thing that turns it for me is the Rays can start a starting pitcher and go 8 innings strong, or they can start a reliever and go reliever to
the openers.
Oh yeah. And I think that's going to be a tremendous World Series.
You got a rematch. You got a
Dodgers
rematch.
Rays. Yep.
And who you got winning?
They're going to break the Rays heart again. The Dodgers are going to win. I mean, Max Scherzer definitely put the battery in Dodgers back. For this
so now, Chuck, now that Josh has come on Smoke and Mirrors and spoke some baseball, we're gonna have to have him back when we do these post games now. Hopefully, little man is sleeping when we go on the post game, bro.
He will be. I'll make sure.
All right, cool. Josh, thank you for coming on. Definitely appreciate it. Chuck, thank you as always.
No problem.
Fans out there, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Coming up, we have the Sunday show at 12 Eastern, and we got Boss Man Carl, and we got the whole football team. Travis with his terrible takes, Paul Lawson, Rick, and I'm not sure if Deck's gonna be there. Who knows? But yeah, especially look forward to Travis's takes because they're brutal. And I believe we have the Wednesday show again. Bossman, you got to let us know. Keep us posted because we're still not sure of that. And we got Tuesday, the Fan Zone with Mike and Mandy coming up as well. Ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy your weekend and be safe out there. Happy Columbus Day weekend. And shout out to all my teachers. No work on Monday. Let's enjoy that 3-day weekend.
Congrats.
Have a good one, fellas.
Take care, y'all.